When you went from anti-band shirt to actually embracing it, did you discover that there's more to it than what you thought?
It was more fun than I thought it would be. I don't know if there's more to it, but the first time I put one on, it was 3-ply, I remember, and I rode it up real high like you would a poly. And I was like, yeah, just getting it up in my, and I couldn't hit what I could in a poly. I was like, maybe this isn't as good as I thought it was. And I was like, wait a minute, you wear a slingshot and everything down by your elbows. Let's put it down. And I went and I blasted it up. I was like, okay, I think I figured it out, and it became super fun. And the shirt doesn't beat you up. It doesn't beat you up at all. Not even close to what a poly does. You know what I mean? So in that aspect, you feel a lot better. So it was just, yeah, it ended up being a lot more fun than I thought it would be.
With the, walk me through how you set up with the band shirt. So let's forget about how to set the shirt, because that's going to be different for everybody, and we're just going to confuse people with that. So the shirt's on,
yeah,
and it's on right, and then you sit on the bench. What are the exact steps that you do from that point on?
A lot of people, I think, make a mistake of moving their arms too much in a band shirt. I get it on, and I'm here. I'm like holding it down. So I lay back. I try not to put my arms back in reach. I try to get my head straight under the bar as much as possible. So all I have to do is this instead of this. I grab the bar like 2 underhands like this. Poly, I'll grab it like in between my thumb and my hand, and because you can move it easier. But band shirt, I'll pull under so you can just, somebody pushes one hand, pushes the other. And as they're doing that, I get one hand over, and as they push this one, I'm squeezing and I'm pulling like a rear, a pec deck, like your shoulder, a rear pec deck. I'm just really squeezing over like that. And then once I have that set,
so when you're in this position here and they pull that first one out, what are you intentionally trying to do to make sure your other shoulder doesn't come off the bench? Because people will tilt.
I squeeze, yeah. So I'm squeezing with the hand that's not. So it's stuck. It's not moving it, nothing. Like I'm grabbing it like I'm ready to bench. So when it goes, it's not moving as much as possible as it can move. And then I'll do the same thing once this is getting moved. And then once I'm here, I'll get the guys doing it, push my elbows out. So that helps me get my back a little bit more tighter. And most of the time I'll need a little, and then you're like this though still with the wrist. So I'll get them to push my wrist out a little bit, which gets the hand corrected. So there's no pinching, the bar's not pinching your hand. And if I can get from here to here with that little bit of wrist, I can squeeze that back even more. And so that's how I set my hands on that. And once that happens, I'm locked in. That's when I move my feet. My feet, I'm on a little arch. They're not set yet, but I'm just trying to get in that position. And then I just inch my feet out to where my butt's just hovering. It's kind of like automatic now for me.
So the feet start back more than needed?
No, they're just kind of there.
Yeah.
They're just flat. They're just kind of hanging out, and I'm not really focusing on them. Maybe a little bit on my toes, but not like back on my toes. And then I just kind of inch them out, push my knees out, get the glutes tight. And then I'll push up, get my arch real good as I'm doing that, and then I'm set.
All right, so then it's lifted out. Where do you want the bar when it's lifted out? Sternum, chin?
More over the chest than you would poly, barely though, because you're not going to be, I'm not able to bring it out as far.
As low as multiply?
Correct. Yeah. Okay. So in multiply, I bring it out. And I have the weights, and I'm trying to break that bar.
Yeah.
I put it in your pinkies, put your pinkies into the bar, and I'm like this. With the band shirt, I can't really do that. I don't feel like there's enough support in the actual shirt in that position. So I bring it out more. I'm just like a lat pull down, and not like that, but more just bringing it out straight. So everything's still stacked, but I kind of feel it, if this makes any sense, more in my bones. I don't feel the weight in my bones, but I feel like I'm just holding it more than letting the shirt hold it more. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I don't tuck, it's like a hybrid tuck. It's not near as much of a tuck as poly. And I never flare raw, but it's not a flare either. So it's like a hybrid in between tuck. And I just kind of I can go towards belly. It's not as much as a poly or a multiply tuck would be, or 2 belly. Very close though.
Now, if it's getting hard to touch, what do you do to make it touch?
That's something I actually learned a good lesson I learned at the Arnold last year. I was having trouble touching, and I came down and I was like, maybe if I flare a little bit more and kind of push up, it'll touch, you'll get that extra stretch. I did that and I popped up, but I couldn't lock it out. I was too high. I was too much this way. I didn't have enough room to follow through and flare. So what I do now is I come in, if I can't touch, I try and tuck. While I push my belly up, I try to tuck just a hair, because usually that's all I need. It's just a hair. If I'm further than that, it's not going to work. So it's just tuck. Just bring your elbows in a little bit more, almost like you're just trying to squeeze your armpit. You know what I mean? Squeeze that piece of paper between your armpit a little bit more, and it's usually there, so I can pop it up and then flare as I need. If I come out and try to flare, it just stops.
Now, when you say flare as you need, at what point do you know if you need that or not?
If it stops. For me, there's been a few times where it's just stopped.
So you wait until it stops until you'll do that.
Otherwise, it's just pushed.
Okay. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, it's pushed straight up, and if it doesn't, you feel it stop, then you just kind of start spreading and flare barely, like a little bit.
Yes.
I flare a lot more in a multiply shirt, but just a little flare in the band.
Well, all this that you just went through explains why you have to have more repetitions in the shirt.
Yes.
Because you have to do all this shit and think while it's going on. And you're only going to be able to do that through repetition, because a lot of people, they don't even think at all when they're pressing.
Yep.
It's just like their brain screaming, "Gah!" You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And there's a lot more to it.
Yes.
You know, especially when the plies start getting higher, because you need to know where it is on the way down.
Yes.
The whole time it's going down. Do you focus on trying to keep where do you have your eyes? Because a lot of people, some get away with it, get trapped in trying to watch the bar, and then their head comes up and then the chest will drop.
I watch it until I can't see it. You know what I mean? So I'll watch it, but I don't lift my head. Okay. So I'll watch it, and it disappears, and then it's a feel from there. Okay. Yeah, I don't lift my head. I don't focus on pushing it back either. I think it's just second nature that it stays there.
But you let the bar disappear.
Yes.
Though. Okay.
Yep. I don't look up. I don't follow it. I follow it just my eyeballs, and it's gone. And then.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about though, because you've seen people do that. It's like, motherfucker, if you just don't, you know what I'm saying? This is all you need to do is just don't do that.
We have a training partner, Chad, in our gym. Really good lifter, but he would lift his head so much, and he would almost look like he's trying to do a sit up while he's touching. I'm like, if you don't do, you're increasing your range of motion so much. He recently fixed it and is hitting PRs. In the gym, it looks so much better. His belly's staying up. There's no like crater. He's not creating a crater. You know, when you fold over and you're trying to touch. That's
a trap people can get into if they're using boards too much with shirts.
Yes.
You know, because they don't get that.
I'm huge. That's one thing. I take away boards. And that's exactly what he did. I suggested it to him. I wouldn't say he's listening to me. I suggested it, and his bench is going very well now, and it's night and day difference. And it looks great. He's being way more consistent in everything. Once we took away just do floating reps. Add the board in if you want to do a drop set at the last one. Or if you want to do
every day.
Exactly. Or if you're going to go do your top set and you want one more. Let's do a one more. Let's see if I can handle this weight I've never handled. Let's take it to a 1 or 2 point. You know what I mean? Like that kind of stuff. In my opinion, don't use it the whole day. Don't have it unless you got some elbow pain and shoulder. You know what I mean? There's exceptions, but if you're fine, if it's a normal training day, take away the boards.
Yeah. So now walk me through your 905 single ply bench. Is that what it was?
No, 900. And I'll tell you why I correct it, because on open powerlifting, the world record was 893 or something like that. And I was like, I'll go 900, break it. I went 900, broke it. That next day, it was up. Somebody didn't update it. It was updated. 903 was the world record in 2018. Nobody said anything to open power. They didn't seem to care. I don't know. It wasn't updated. So 903 was actually the record. That's why I didn't go 905. And so I didn't get that record, because it still irks me now, because it's 5 pounds. I would have went for it. You know what I mean? So yeah, it was 900 and it wasn't a record.
Now I saw a video. I don't know if it was this one or if it was a different one. It was the red overkill. It looked like a lift that I wouldn't want to do.
It wasn't a red overkill that I used for the 900.
Was it crooked and then straightened out on the press?
900?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that happened at that meet. Yes.
Yes. Walk me through that lift, because that looked like a lift in my brain. I'm like, I don't know if I would have done that one, man. I'm not saying it was still a good lift. I mean, by rules, it was all good. I'm just saying, personally, I wouldn't want to be in that position.
For some reason, I've always had a lag in my left arm.
Yeah.
And if I'm not perfect on that bench, my left arm lag is going to come up a little lower with the max weight. So sometimes, I know which one you're talking about now. I'm sorry. That was 905, and that was 905, but that was multiply.
Okay.
I missed the first attempt because of that. So we did the fold over the tricep.
Yeah.
So we put an extra 3 layers over. So it was a 6 over that. 6 layers over that part of the tricep. I come down, I come up, and it doesn't dip. It just stops moving.
Yeah.
And it's moving. This right side's moving up. If you just saw that right side, it looked like an easy lift. But that left side.
Oh, I'm thinking your pec is going to go, man. It's like, this is a pec tear waiting to happen.
For some reason, that left side, like I have to scoot over. Anyways, and it just, that extra layer we folded over just came into play, I think, and I finally got it.
Yeah,
it moved up. I was so thankful. I was 4 straight bomb outs going for 900 before that one. So, and then I missed my opener. I was like, no, not. I felt so good that day. Warm ups went phenomenal. They went great. I was like, today's the day. Missed that opener. I was like, no.
So what's going through your mind on that, right? Because that's not like, when one's trailing the other one, you still need to lock out at the same time. You can't say slow down the other arm. You know what I'm saying?
I always say afterwards, I'm like, if I could just slow down that one just a little, it would be, you know what I mean? It might make the lift easier, but you can't, like you said, you can't do that. It's just push. Like, I'm just like, go in my head. It's not technique. It's not.
Yeah, at that point,
like, freaking go. And it went, and it like just caught in the perfect position. And thankfully got the lockout on that one. Yeah, that's all I'm thinking. I'm like, not again. And I'm like, okay, it's moving.
Now, how'd the 1207 go?
1207, that one. I opened up 1107. Got that. That training side, I was blasting through numbers. I think I peaked a little early. But anyways, it took 3 attempts to get that 1207. Evidently in IPA, if you're going for a record, you can go for a 4th regardless if you hit your last lift. I don't know. That's just what I was told. So I was like, yeah, I'll take it again. So I missed it on my first.
Will that count? Interesting here, but will that count for a world record? I think it does, would it?
That's what they told me. Everybody.
I think it does. It's just if it was
judges,
a total, it would count for the total.
Exactly. Yeah. That's exactly what they said. So I opened 1107, got it. Went 1207 second. One mistake that I made that I'm not going to make again is I took a little bit too much stimulant that day, trying to get amped up, and I was shaking during every lift off that I'd normally. It came off, and I was like, nerves included, everything included, but I'm like, don't take that anymore,
Yeah.
I come down, and I had a handoff guy hand it off for me that doesn't normally hand off all the time, so no blame on him. It just wasn't the same crew, you know what I mean? So they were just a hair off. Combined with my nervousness, it just wasn't great for the most part. Came off. I couldn't touch on one of the attempts. The other attempt, I press up and it goes right into the rack on the lockout. That 4th attempt, a guy jumped in, training partner buddy. He was like, "You want me to try and lift off?" Because he usually does lift off. And I was like, "No, yes, actually, yes. Let's do it. Then got nothing to lose." All came together, lifted off, perfect spot. Came down. 3rd attempt trying that weight. Came up slower than normal, but I didn't care, and it came up, ended up being a little wobbly at the top for whatever reason, but I ended up getting it and locking it out. It felt so good. But yeah, that was a tough one. I was going to go for 13 that day. In hindsight, everything goes perfect, 13 or 14. But
what are you training for now then?
Right now we're got the Irish Pro coming up. I never competed overseas, so goal number 1 is just to win the meet. There's a money meet, got some cash on the line.
With single ply or
band shirt?
Band shirt, all right.
So there's the full meet multiply. No band shirts allowed. Then there's a bench only portion that only band shirts are allowed. So I'm doing that unlimited.
So that's just for the money. So whatever it's going to take.
Yeah, but
win first, go crazy second.
Exactly. Nothing against anybody. I'm hoping my second attempt will win it, and then I can go. And if not, 3rd attempt, and then maybe I can go for a 4th. I would love to hit 13. I just went 13 Tuesday. off of one board pretty easy. So
what's your correlation from the one board to the chest in the past?
In the band shirts, I think I can, anything I can take to a one board, I feel like I can do. It's just a little, it's that 2 inches, and I don't feel, now a two board is different. But in a one board, I think if I can get it to one board, I think Holly's a little different too, because that finicky last little touch.
Yeah.
But
you also pick up more of the rebound.
Exactly.
From the shirt.
That's why I tell people not to go boards and band shirts, because the further you go, it's longer, but you're getting more out of it.
Yeah.
So don't go to board. Don't limit the shirt if you can go further.
So how far out is this meet?
It is May 10th. I think we're sitting 5 weeks out now. So
that puts you in a little bit of a weird spot, because you might be where you need to be. But now you just don't fuck up.
Exactly. And I just did a meet a couple weeks ago. So it was like, take some time, recover. Now it's just trying to figure out if the strength is there. Don't go crazy. Don't do anything crazy that could potentially hurt me physically, or, just overload that CNS and just kind of put you backward. So I'm gonna have to figure it out. Kind of go along. I'm gonna, next week is gonna be the boards. With the Widowmaker and stuff like I normally do. Then it's going to be a deload. Then I'm going to have to kind of play around and see. I won't go too heavy. I won't go over 12 again, maybe 11. But I don't necessarily think I need it. It's more getting used to this shirt and getting the groove down perfect. You know what I mean? If I get that line perfect, I think I can hit whatever. So,
where's your body weight right now?
285.
Yeah, so we'll give or take 5, or not take, maybe 5 pounds more.
Yeah, but I don't think I need it. If I go 5 pounds more, I'm sitting right where, like, if I get 5 pounds more, it's a little hard to breathe, a little hard, and I need that extra breath, that extra, I mean, I don't think that 5 pounds is going to help me any more than sitting here. So I don't think I need that. Yeah. Kind of made that mistake last meet. I thought I needed it, and
well, it can play into the shirt too, because it's not like you have 2 inches of fat over everything that can compress. That plays a big role, multiply big time.
Yes, that's
the leaner the people
what just happened.
Yeah.
So I came in January. So the meet was March. It was in March, January 12th. I remember I was 272, and I hit 11:24 to a one board multiply, and I was going to go for the all-time world record. I was going to go for 11:07, which would beat Tiny's multiply, and I was going to go 11:24, which would beat Jimmy's 11:20. Even though he did it single ply, I still wanted the highest poly regardless. Meet comes, I weigh in at 286, but I think I'm sitting I was closer to 290. I think it was a little light, the scale. Regardless, shirt fit. Yeah, it usually slides on. Just give it a little help. This one we had to really pull it on. I was like, oh man, with the multiple, it's so finicky. And that's the same shirt I wore when I hit that 905 when I weighed 257. Now I'm weighing 289. Same exact shirt. And so I gained a little bit too much weight for it. Couldn't touch. I tried twice. Couldn't touch. Switched to the band shirt. So I just thought, I'm like, I'm not bombing out. I know I'm not getting this weight in this, I'm not getting the record I want. Let's just have, and let's hit another 1,000-pound bench, because that's still cool regardless of what I do it in to me. And just ride it into the next Irish Pro, the next meet.
All right, so tell me the motivation behind Everstrong. You said your wife was it breast cancer?
Yes.
Twice?
She got diagnosed breast cancer a couple of years ago and got re-diagnosed 2021, 2022. Anyways, beat it the first time. And the second time, metastasized. I think I'm saying it right, in her bones, in her pleura, a couple other places. The PET scan was crazy. You see the dots everywhere. There's technically no beating it. There's no cure per se on the second time. But within a couple months, she had done everything. Like that wasn't an answer for her. You know what I mean? That wasn't acceptable, I should say. Did everything she could. Now there's no evidence of disease. The markers are way low. It's not technically gone, but we're just she's just keeping it at bay, and then doing everything she can. And then 2019, I got swine flu and pneumonia at the Arnold. And I was in the hospital for a while. I was in a coma for 16 days. Lost 60 pounds. Had to put a trach in. You see the scar. They had to temporarily paralyze me. Had to relearn how to walk. Was told I'll never power lift again. And I didn't take that. I didn't accept that either. At the time, I was like, I'm fine. That's cool. I don't care as long as I'm living. Walked back in the gym. And then after I got out of the hospital after a month, I was like, okay, I'm coming back. At least I'm going to try. I'm going to do my best to come back.